This is so cool. On the 1st of May, I set off on an adventure to attempt to walk the length of the UK. Today really took it out of me. I can tell you right now I didn't make it. We're just surrounded by the just glorious epicness of nature. And it's so impressive. After 50 days of walking, I called an end to the hike at the Scottish border. I guess some would look at this as a failure. We're in the middle of nowhere. But I don't. Those 50 days have changed my life. It was as much of a journey physically as it was mentally. The last year has been very tough for my mental health, and I almost didn't even make it to the start line. This is a very difficult video to make. It's a video I've been knowing about for the last couple of weeks. I am going to have to cancel the Le Jog. I didn't make it to John O'Groats, but I had an epic adventure. Walking the length of England taught me so much and was a better medicine than any antidepressant. I saw incredible landscapes, met fantastic people, and felt finally free from so much of the darkness that had clouded my mind. This is not a story of how I walked the length of the UK, but one about how I gave it my very best shot and managed to change my life through a wild and wonderful adventure. It is the day before I head out to walk across the UK. As you can see, my room is an absolute mess. That's everything that I'm bringing up with me. I just wanted to make a little video before I head out, just to sort of give my feelings. It's Friday. Tomorrow I'm heading out at 5 a.m, driving 5 hours down to Cornwall. I'm really excited. I'm trying not to overthink it because it's just one of those things that I have no idea what's going to happen. And that is both exciting and scary. The plan was to start at Land's End in Cornwall and walk up through England and Scotland to reach John O'Groats, a journey that would most likely take over 3 months and cover over 1,100 miles in distance. I also wasn't planning on taking the most direct route. My Le Jog walk would have me exploring some of England and Scotland's most stunning hidden gems and landmarks. From secret waterfalls to medieval ruins, my plan was to try and see as many cool spots as possible along my walk, which did make my route rather squiggly. Oh man, I can't believe it's actually the day. Like, for months I've been training for this moment right now, and these are the first steps onto a 3-month-long adventure of who knows what's going to happen.
And I think that's the thing, just you just don't know what's going to lie ahead in the next 3 months.
Yeah, and last night I was nervous, and the night before nervous, but as soon as got here, put feet down, you know, it's just excitement for the adventure ahead, and so let's get going. Let's get going.
Every single step forward is another step closer to John O'Groats.
Yeah, we're basically there, I reckon. First up, we're going to a little hidden gem that is found shipwrecked, which gives you a bit of a clue, along the coastal side of Cornwall. And it is a boat's name in which I've forgotten. Darn it. The RMS Mulheim met its unfortunate fate in 2003, when the captain of the boat fell off his chair and got knocked out. By the time he came to, it was too late, and soon the boat ran into the sharp rocks of the Cornwall coast. We are now heading to the next hidden gem. Sort of how this route works is we're kind of connecting a bunch of hidden gems together, but we don't really have a set way to get to them, and so each hidden gem we've kind of got to just make it up as we go along. And so that's what we're doing right now. We're just trying to figure our way out to the next hidden gem.
Hi ladies, yes, I am single.
had a beautiful walk. Oh, just stunning. Very quiet area of Cornwall, and it's just lovely. And we've walked down to what is an ancient healing well, and people actually still do pilgrimages to this place. This well was most likely built around 200 BC and was once the water source to a nearby ancient village.
Is there anything, Josh, that you want to be healed for today?
I want to be healed from this bag being so heavy and crushing my entire spine. It looks gross. The water doesn't look healy. Hey! I don't want to do it. There. I'm healed! Great! Close to the well, we found the ancient village Carnunny. Built around 200 BC, it is one of the best preserved fogos in England. A fogo is an underground stone passageway, of which its purpose is still a mystery. We're just in a cave. An ancient cave used to store food from the Iron Ages.
Over 2,600 years old. This is built underneath a load of grass. And it's so well built.
It really is.
Awesome. Absolutely awesome. What another amazing hidden gem.
The day was starting to draw to an end, and we had made a lot less distance than I thought we would. Figuring out the route between each hidden gem had proven quite difficult, and we had gotten lost a couple of times. Add this with frequent breaks to ease my back from the heavy weight of my pack, and it equaled slow progress. But honestly, none of that mattered. The weather had been good, I had great company, and the hidden gems had been so cool. Overall, it had just been an epic first day. It has been a wonderful day hiking.
It really has.
Such a great first day. Thank you, Pat.
Thank you, Josh. We're now about to have a lovely meal cooked by Michelin star chef, Josh.
Thank you, thank you.
What's on the menu tonight, Josh?
Well, today is an excellent tomato and smoked bacon with some macaroni. I mean, if that doesn't scream there you go. If it doesn't scream Michelin star, then I don't know what does. And we found a nice camp spot, so we're going to cook some dinner, put up the tent, and just have a chilling evening. This is mine. This is Patrick's.
That's what happens when you forget all cutlery and a bowl. Thank you, Josh, for letting me use your lid.
Do you want to see what you're using as a spoon?
All I have is this.
That is his spoon.
A lid, but let's see if it works, you know. It's all good to judge, but actually...
It works.
It's perfect.
Is it good?
Tuck on in, lovely. Oh my goodness.
So this area actually has wild Dartmoor ponies. And this one is very interested in our tent. I think it'll be our neighbor for the night. Good night, mate. Sleep well.
I love you.
Last night was so cold that there was actually frost on the outside of my sleeping bag from condensation. Whew, it's not summer yet. Oh my goodness, I didn't know May's get this cold. I haven't exactly packed for it, but I'm just outside doing a little warm-up jig right now. Whew. It's nice to wake up with the ponies though, and the sun rising. It looks like a very clear day today, probably partly why it was so cold last night, but hopefully that sun comes and saves us soon. Whew. We are continuing our adventure today, and we're going to go to some awesome hidden gems and then head into one of the biggest cities within Cornwall, and they're going to restock, running low on water already. So that's the plan. Hidden gems and then a nice city. Cornwall has a long history in mining, and at one time was the provider of over half of the world's arsenic. This engine house was used to pump water out of a mine with a truly wonderful name, Ding Dong Mine. We've made it to the outskirts of Penzance. We're busted. How are you, Pat?
I'm good, man. I'm loving sitting in the sun. We've had a lovely walk. The last stretch till we go to a nice cafe. It's going to be so nice.
It's going to be awesome. And then there was just one. Patrick has got on the train and he is heading back home. He was just joining me for 2 of the days, which is so lovely to see me out. Such a big adventure that having like a friendly face, just lots of laughs together really helps start it off in a really good way. And right now I'm just beginning to exit the city. I've stocked up on water and food, so the backpack's extra heavy at the moment. And I'm heading basically down coast. This is like a little cove. I'm just going to walk along this coastal path for I think the rest of the day, and so I think it'll be very beautiful, and honestly not a cloud in the sky. I can't think of a better walk to be doing. It was a glorious walk with the sky as blue as the sea. As I walked along the beach, I passed St. Michael's Mount, a scenic island topped with a medieval castle and connected to the beach via a man-made causeway. The castle was built in 1066 and was the site of many bloody battles and sieges. Luckily none the day I was there. So I've just cooked up some dinner, just pasta and tomato sauce. Oh, really excited to eat. It has been a bit of a long hike today. Really enjoyed it though, beautiful weather. Apparently tomorrow it's meant to give gale force winds, so I found a bit to camp that is really well secluded and covered by sort of full 360 hedges, so be good. The sun is just setting behind me. It's just past 7, so it's been a full day from 6 a.m. till 7 p.m. of walking, but it's been really fun. It's a beautiful part of Cornwall. Oh, that's so good. I'm not even putting that on. I've been so hungry. Man, usually I eat dinner a lot earlier, so this is lovely. But I'm gonna eat this up and then I'm gonna set up the tent and just have another early night because I am busted. But I'll see you tomorrow morning. I'm gonna hope that the weather forecasts were wrong and that it won't be super rainy, but we'll have to wait and see. Walking along the trail, beautiful. Hasn't rained so far yet. I'm hoping it'll stay unrainy today, but I found, just thought it was quite random, a shower. No idea why. There's just a shower on this coastal path. The wind is so strong that because my bag is quite big, it's actually catching it, and I'm getting like swayed side to side on the trail. And also, I think it's pushing a lot of flies into my eyes. So I feel kind of bad for the flies. They're dying via eye. This is sort of the final landmark I'm checking out on the coastal path. And so now I'm heading inland. And I'm actually going to be checking out another mine very similar to this, but a lot more less known. I have randomly just found like an old well just on the side of a normal road. I've been sort of hiking slowly inland, and it works out really well for two reasons. One, it started to rain, so it's a good place just to take a moment, take a break, and put on some waterproofs. And the other thing is I was running low on water, so I'm pretty sure that water's going to be safe. And if not, I'll find out soon enough. But I got chlorine tablets as well, so I'll pop them in. Really happy about this find, so random. I've just made it to the next hidden gem more inland, which is another mining area and another mining building. This one's extra creepy though, because the actual grate that you stand on, you can actually stand above what was once this really deep mine shaft, and yeah, it's a pretty scary thing to do, but this is a lot more less known and a bit more out in the middle of nowhere than the last one I checked out. As I continued my walk inland, the weather began to change for the worst. Rain and heavy wind is a combo that can suck my butt. But even with that, I must say that I really loved exploring Cornwall in this slow and intimate way. It was a rare chance to really immerse myself in the landscape and truly appreciate how awesome this part of England really is. Good morning, everyone. I slept for about 10 hours. It was awesome. Last night got wild though. The wind and the rain. I definitely put up the tent at the right time actually, because otherwise I think I would have got soaked. Just hoping for another beautiful day of hiking. I'm feeling a lot better than yesterday or last night. Last night I was so busted, but the long sleep has done me well. So I'm excited to get going on trail and see what we can find today. It was now day 4 of my walk across England, and I had started to get used to using Google Maps and AllTrails to find a route between each of the hidden gems. This made progress a lot quicker than the first couple of days. The weather for the most part had been great, and with summer coming the bluebells bloomed in vibrant forests and made for just a lovely walk. A lot of this walk is just finding public pathways to take me closer to the hidden gems, because there is no official trail the way I'm doing the jog, so it's quite fun. But my left leg's giving me a bit of problems today. My knee and my ankle for some reason. My right leg is the one that was injured going into this, and I've been really stretching it. And I've obviously just not stretched this left one enough, so I'm taking more breaks than I'd like to stretch it out, but that's alright. I'll just take my time today. You know, I'm in no major rush to get to where I'm going, so it's all good. And it's a beautiful day today. The weather is gorgeous. It's been a very beautiful walk. I'm just going to take a break and stretch out my left leg a bit. So I found this hole in a random bit of field, and it looks just big enough to crawl in, and curiosity's got the better of me. I'm gonna see if I can squeeze in and check it out. What a cool find though. I still have no idea what the hole was for. Clearly man-made, but with nothing but dead ends inside. I headed on across random farm fields and quiet paths, till I reached a small village where I was able to stock up on some food and have a hot snack. This area of England obviously used to be used a lot for mining. There's tons of abandoned mining sort of buildings, really cool. such a beautiful walk, and I've discovered so many things that I didn't know were here. They didn't show up on the map. It just reminds me why I'm walking and not doing it another way. It's the slowest way to see the country, but the most detailed, and can really get your teeth into all the different hidden gems and discover really cool things you would never see otherwise. Oh my goodness, I have had a full day of walking. It's coming up to 7 and I've reached the final hidden gem for today, which is another mine building in a really stunning woodland. Oh, it's really picturesque. I don't know why it's particularly picturesque compared to the others I've seen, but it just seems to really stand out in its environment. I think it's probably to do with the puddle below and seeing the reflection of it, but it is stunning. And today's walk has been awesome fun, but my feet are definitely swollen. I reckon I definitely did over 20 miles today. Probably a lot over 20 miles. Although maybe I'm just saying that. It feels like more than 20 miles, that's for sure. I'm just gonna have some dinner and just chill out for the night. Wait till the sun sets to put up my tent. Good morning, everyone. It was a bit of a tough one to get up out of bed this morning. I'm a little bit stiff, but today, very excitedly, I am hiking to Truro, which is about 7 or 8 miles hike away, so not a long hike. And there I have booked a hotel, a little room with a private bath, and a shower, and things to charge all my equipment. And it is good. So I haven't showered in 5 days, so I probably stink worse than a skunk. So I am so excited for that. And this morning is going to be a good walk, but the rest of the day will be a rest day, cleaning my clothes, cleaning myself, and doing all the necessities to make sure that I can keep going for a long time. Now, 5 days in, the reality of what I was doing was starting to sink in. I was sore, I was tired, and I was loving it. It was tough but so freeing. Walking all day is such a simple way to live, and it helped me strip a lot of my mental baggage away. And I realized that for the first time in a long while, I wasn't feeling anxious or depressed. The walk was kicking my butt, but in an awesome way. I couldn't wait to see what was in store for me further along this adventure, but in the short term, it would be a warm bed and a shower, which I was so excited for. Oh, glorious, glorious. I am spending a night in a hotel with a clean, squishy bed. I mean, look, squish. It's so squishy. I've got plugs. I've got a shower. Oh, it's glorious. I mean, I'm going to get an early night for sure tonight. This is half of a rest day. At least I'm going to have half a rest day today. But I still have a lot to do. I got to wash all my clothes. I gotta charge all my equipment. I also gotta wash this stinky thing right here that my finger's pointing at, which is indeed me, before I can even think about jumping on the squishy bed. So I got a bit to do before I can chill out, but it's like a civilized evening. I'd have such an appreciation for it after so many days in the wild. What a glorious day it is today, huh? I've had some great weather recently, so I cannot complain. It was a wonderful night in the hotel. Oh my goodness. Slept super well. Started the morning with a decaf coffee. Feel like a king right now. But today we're heading out of Truro. We're gonna go by a really beautiful cathedral. Then we're gonna head and hike to a place called the Hidden Valley. And that is a place that is a valley that is also hidden. Would you believe it? I'm sure they mean cars, not people. People will be fine. It's probably like they're missing the other part of the sign that says road closed, and then the other sign would say for cars, but open for people. That's what I reckon. This is a hilly walk today. I've been up and down loads. Oh, beautiful forest walk, but burning the legs off me today. It is constantly up and down. It has turned into such a lovely day. I mean, it's tough work going up and down these hills today, but the nice thing is, on those couple of minutes where you reach the top point of that climb, you just get this beautiful view over these rolling green hills. It's very English countryside, you know, that sort of just beautiful, peaceful landscape surrounding. So it's well worth the burning calves, but I'm taking a lot of breaks today. It is tough walking. After a couple more hours of hiking, I reached the Hidden Valley. This magical woodland is home to mossy, nature-covered remains of what was once a busy stone quarry and mills. Here, between 1870 and 1965, they would have mined the valuable China stone. Now it stands as a lush, vibrant place, perfect for walking. I didn't realize how many ruins there are. There's tons. I've went through like 3 already, and they're big and open to explore, and I can't believe no one else is here on a sunny day. This is a crazy trail. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to find a place to camp, but this trail just gets really overgrown. I've just got the tent up. I got some food cooking. I'm gonna have macaroni and tinned curry, chicken curry. I'm not super hopeful about that, but here's hoping it's actually good. I've never had chicken curry from a can. That's not bad at all. It's actually got little bits of chicken. Considering it came from a tin, it's very delicious actually. Good morning, everyone. What a glorious day. I have just hiked out of the valley that I was sleeping in. And check out how cool these mountains are behind me. I think this area has a lot of like quarries and mining still going on. And so it creates these really sharp peaks of mountains. It almost looks like something you would see in Bali or Indonesia. Very cool. Today I'm going to be hiking to a castle. That is the plan. It's probably going to be about 20 miles away, and could not ask for better weather to go do that. It's a beautiful road that just runs through this obviously very heavily quarried area, and it just creates this really unique landscape. I've never seen before in England. Unfortunately, it seems I've come onto a main road. I've tried to look for trails going off, but haven't been able to find any, so just trying to be as safe as possible for as short as possible and get off this busy road as quick as I can. I was able to escape the busy roads relatively quickly and found myself hiking across stunning hillsides. The weather had been much better and the English countryside was looking gorgeous.
It was always on fire, our house, our dreams. We were dancing on a wire, reckless it seemed.
With the day nearing its end, I reached the next hidden gem. Restormel Castle is an unusual castle built in the late 13th century, situated on top of a hill with a fantastic view. It would have been used as a luxurious medieval retreat for its owners.
The final straw. Oh, I never felt like this before. When I was trapped, you showed an open door.
Oh, I am absolutely busted. I am just currently trying to find a place to set up the tent. I'm on the other side of the valley. I am currently looking for a place that's got quite a lot of tree cover because I had a look at the weather report and the next 2 days, perhaps 3 days, is said to be just heavy rain all day. Also, a fun fact about my body anatomy, if anyone cares. I have really flat feet, like really flat feet. And so after long hikes, I'm very prone to getting swelling feet. And boy, they are swollen today. It's been a lot of up and down. This whole part of England seems to be very hilly, which is so awesome because it's so beautiful. Also so tough. Oh, I cannot wait to set up the tent in a nice covered spot, have some dinner, and just pass out for 1,000 trillion years. Day 8 started with some rain, and then continued with more rain, and then kept going with even more rain. And as you can probably imagine, I was not a happy hiker. Oh, this is f***ing awful. Heavy wind and rain was my hiking partner for that miserable day, and I'd be lying if I said it was anything but miserable. Oh, what a day. What a day. It did not stop raining from morning till night. I'm not talking light rain, I am saying heavy wind, heavy rain. And it got lighter at times, but it never stopped raining. My bag is soaked. Even with my waterproofs, my only option is to sleep with no sleeping bag tonight and hope that it'll be a sunny day soon and I can dry it out. It gets cold, almost, not quite -degrees, but close to 0 degrees. Everything is soaked. It's quite frustrating because everything was covered and then also with plastic bags. But the rain just did not stop today. I'm just complaining at this point. Today sucked. I'm not happy. Oh, but I am in my tent and I'm somewhat dry, and my spare change of clothes they're quite dry, so I'll figure it out. I'm sure I'll be able to sleep tonight. Problem right now in the tent, I feel it's good to document this miserable moment, because it is. It's miserable. This is obviously all part of the adventure, but boy is it a miserable part of it. The problem is my bag is soaked. Over here is all my things that got soaked as well, and bags here. And under them is collecting puddles. And so if I move any of these objects, the puddles kind of become free and will leak into the center where my mat is. And I really want to keep that dry. And so I can't really move anything in the tent. And I can't find my pillow. So I'm sleeping with no pillow. So my spare socks and pants are gonna be my pillow. Let's give it a try. Lovely. I'm also not gonna go outside again because I'm sick of the rain. It's just been heavy rain and wind all day, non-stop, and it's not stopping right now. So I don't want to go out with my camping stove and cook up some food. So I'm just gonna have for dinner a very delicious cold Heinz beans and sausages. Does this seem miserable? Oh, why am I laughing? It's awful. Oh, and I've checked the weather, and it says it's gonna be this weather for a couple more days. But I'm really hoping they're wrong. They've been wrong before. Today beat me in the butt pretty hard. But at least I get to enjoy cold Heinz beans with sausages now as my reward. Oh, that's all I can say about that night. It is not raining right now though, which is glorious. I think it won't rain for another couple of hours. I'm gonna make the most of it and walk. I'll tell you, it is not a nice feeling putting on wet clothes in the morning though, I will say that. Wet clothes or not, this was gonna be an awesome day. My parents were coming to visit me for lunch, and I had just booked a hotel about 10 miles away where I could do some much needed drying out. My parents met me on the road, and together we walked to the hotel. They then took me to a nearby restaurant for some amazing lunch. It was so lovely to see them all. If you ever wanted to know what heaven looks like, this right here. Good morning, everyone. It is a sunny day, would you believe it? I'm so glad. Yesterday was pretty much a rest day. Spent most of my day with my parents having delicious food and then just had an early night. So the plan today is to make it to Dartmoor. With morale high and the sky clear of rain, I made quick progress out of Collington town and into beautiful English countryside. I don't know what hill I'm on, but it has got a fantastic view over here. Oh my goodness. It was a good climb up. Well worth it for the view though. So I am heading roughly that way. Somewhat. But what a view. Woo! So happy with today's weather. Please stay like this.
You were always smarter. I was the one to tag along. I remember how we started.
Bye.
To realize we're miles apart. Strange motion.
Alright. I am officially out of Cornwall and beginning my walk in Devon.
A change coming. It's inevitable. In a paradise, we can work it out. See the hard times fading. In the sunrise, we can flee the night. In the paradise, we can work it out. In the sunrise, we can flee the night. Flee the night.
So nice to be in a national park. There's so many walking trails and it's so vast and quiet. Oh, it's amazing. It's been a while since I've been actually in a national park on this walk, and just the vastness and Oh, Dartmoor's just such a stunning place. The sun is starting to set. I'm just looking for a place to camp up. But it's just so awesome to be walking through these beautiful trails along the valleys, and it's great to be in a national park again, because it's also just so much easier to walk around because there's so many hiking trails and it's really scenic. Oh, I'm so excited to explore more Dartmoor. It has been a long day. It is coming up to 8:30. Usually I finish around 6:30, 7:00, so I did a bit extra today, but it's also because I had to lie in. So I'm feeling well and truly worked. My feet are sore, but in a good way. That's the good thing about these days, especially the weather today. You can just really appreciate being outside, and at the end of the day you just feel like you really, I don't know, you deserve the dinner and you deserve the rest. I am just having some dinner now, which is spaghetti bolognese. Spaghetti bolognese. I didn't know Heinz did spaghetti bolognese in a tin, but I saw it in the store, so I picked it up. I'm gonna give it a try. Hopefully it'll be delicious. It's really easy, this tin stuff. I just flicked out a bunch. You can just kind of pop it in and heat it up. That's all you need to do. It's very easy. Alright, let's give it a try. Tin spaghetti bolognese. I mean, I love spaghetti bolognese. It's one of my favorite meals, so hopefully it's good. Yeah, it's really good. Yay! I'm so hungry. So I'm just gonna munch this down, go to sleep, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Morning. It was day 11, and after a rainy morning, I emerged from the tent to what looked like some awesome summer weather. The goal for the day was to make my way through the wild and rugged National Park of Dartmoor, and hope that the skies stay clear of rain. I'm just starting the day exploring an old medieval ruin. I mean, pretty awesome. That morning I made great progress, finding a smooth path that took me along the side of Dartmoor. Currently up in the moors of Dartmoor now. That sort of side path went along the side of the national park for a while. Really beautiful, filled with friendly walkers, which is nice. Everyone's been so friendly. I've now just come more into the wild moors of Dartmoor, and perfect timing, it's just started to rain. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another day. Oh, it is early. It is just past 6 a.m. Man, has the weather been crazy. I have a bit to update you guys on. So yesterday, it just started pouring for hours. And again, I got soaked through. And so I booked a hotel. And I felt kind of bad about it, to be honest, because, you know, I'm out here. I want to have a wild adventure and I want a wild camp. Recently, it's been 2 hotels, obviously because of the weather. Yeah, I just had to kind of think about it and realize that it's okay. If the weather is really awful, I'll allow myself to stay in a hotel. It's more about covering the distance and being able to walk the UK, and if they're not too expensive, then it's okay. But it was awful yesterday. The weather has been it's been terrible, to be honest. It's meant to be coming into summer. A bit of rain is fine, but it's just been like hours of heavy wind, heavy rain, and it just soaks everything through. Makes it very difficult to do this, to be out and hiking in it, because it gets through everything, waterproofs and everything. Getting a bit frustrated with the weather, trying to stay in positive spirits though. I'm heading into a nearby town. Today I'll be leaving Dartmoor, and then there I'm gonna stock up on some food and water and just resupply. So I am coming close to the town, and the reason I can tell is because I see a castle on the other side of the riverbank. It's just jutting out of the trees now. But there is a castle just before entering this town.
Close your eyes, get out of your skin. All it is matters, let it in. If I could, I would be right here with you.
So I just had a very delicious breakfast. I had some hash browns, a steak slice. Oh, filled up the belly, feeling good. And now I'm heading out of the city. Alright, so no judgment please, but I went for a second breakfast. I found something called a potato dog, and it's a hot dog mixed with potato. And to me that sounds amazing as an Irishman. Anything with potato has got to be good. So this is breakfast number 2, literally maybe an hour later. Let's give this a try, a potato dog. Number 3. Whoa, oh that's awesome. I love potato dogs. Beer farm. Best name ever.
We can be everything we want. Oh.
So it has begun to rain. It was lovely weather for a while, which is nice, but now it is raining and it looks like the clouds on the horizon are even darker. So I think it's gonna be a wet day. Whenever the weather's nice, this is such an awesome experience. And when the rain's like this, it's not too bad. The fear is just it getting heavier, like it is as I speak. Literally as I said that, it is now getting heavier. I don't know if you can hear it. Ah, man, well, I guess it builds character. That's so frustrating though. Yeah, got a lot heavier now. And from then on, the rain once again became my unwanted companion for the hike. But after days of bad weather, I was starting to get used to it, and I could still enjoy walking through beautiful English countryside. It's beautiful. After hours of wet walking, I found shelter in a barn. Out of the heavy rain, it may have well been a 5-star hotel. I have been starving. I didn't really have lunch. I don't really like stopping for lunch whenever it's raining, but I've just stopped in this barn. I'm thinking I might camp here tonight, but in the meantime, before the sun sets, I've made myself some dinner. Some delicious pasta with bolognese sauce. Oh. It's so good. My body has just been craving carbs like crazy. I've been eating cakes right out of the wrapper. I've been eating chocolate croissants. But the thing I most crave is these sort of carbs here, which is pasta. It was a rainy day, but an awesome day. I'm really happy to be out of the rain now in this barn. Start warming up now, get on some warmer clothes. Hello everyone, it is another lovely rainy day. Very happy to say that. There's actually a weather warning where we are at the moment for rain. So that's joyous and wonderful. But there is a difference today than all the other rainy days. And that's because I am joined now with Ethan. How are you, Ethan?
Brilliant first day of walking, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. The weather was miserable, and most of that morning's walk took place on boring roads. But I must say it was wonderful to have some company, and the spirits were surprisingly high. We have got quite the obstacle in front of us. Some would call it a lagoon, some would call it an ocean. But in truth, it's just a bit of a big puddle. Okay, let's go around. Go on, Ethan. No! You're soaked! Ethan! Is your socks wet?
We'll deal with that later.
Alright. No, Ethan! Yeah! I'm dry! So every village we went to, the pubs have been closed or there's like nowhere to sit out of the rain. And then we just turn the corner and like magic, we have come to the Ye Old White Lion Inn. We're away from the rain. The people are so friendly. Oh. All day breakfast coming in. Oh, decaf coffee. Oh. It's been tough walking through the rain, but this is like the ultimate reward, man. Well done.
Well done.
Well done. I'm so excited. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Oh, it's warm. It's warm.
It's warm.
It's warm. Nothing needs to be said. It's just pure heaven. How are you feeling? You happy with yours?
I'm smiling for the first time today.
Fueled on fantastic warm food, we smashed out the remaining miles of mainly busy roads till the sun began to set behind the horizon. We have found a spot to spend the night, and it's another barn. How are you feeling, Ethan? Ethan's pretty busted. It's his first day, and we did almost 20 miles. I think just under 20 miles. It's just past 6 now, but so good to have another barn. This one's a little more overgrown with a few more holes in it, but still it's gonna block most of the wind and rain, so that's just glorious, man. Good night, mate.
Good night, Josh.
Good night. See you in the morning, dude. Have a good sleep. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
So far, we're lucky. We haven't started in rain. I'm sure, because it's our luck, later on, they'll start pelting it down, but it's nice to start the day with no rain for a change. Today, I think, hopefully, will be a bit more of a scenic walk. Lots of little roads and also some public footpaths going by rivers and stuff like that. I think it'll be beautiful.
Lost in the sight of you alone. Here I'll stay till dawn.
We are currently surrounded by cows. Good morning. Good morning, guys.
I'll stay till dawn.
Weather has turned into just a beautiful day. I mean, rain sucks, obviously, but the one good thing about it is that it makes you appreciate it when the sun can break through the clouds again. We're trying to make it just there, on top of that hill. We made it! Woo! That's a view.
Just where it was needed.
On top of this steep hill was our next hidden gem. Comstock Beacon was once part of a chain of fire beacons used to warn of advancing enemies. Now it stands as a unique landmark surrounded by stunning scenery. So we are making our way down the other side of the hill. I think we're starting to feel it a bit, right?
Yeah. It's tired.
Hiking, it's always this, right? In both terrain and in how you feel. You're feeling great and then feeling busted, and then you just have to keep pushing through both. I think that's what makes it. That's what makes the highs so good and the lows worth getting through.
They'll be gone. The trees will bloom and ice will melt. We'll always remember how it felt.
Hello.
Hi, I'm afraid this is private property.
Oh, is it? Sorry, I saw the sign on the other fence. What a day it has been. It is just past 5 now, and we've already set up camp, and we just are busted today. Just really tired. I think we worked out that we did probably between 12, 14 miles or 10. It's really weird. I don't know. We set up the tents already, and as setting up the tents, something crazy happened. I don't know if it got caught on camera, but basically the lady that owns this part, because to be honest, we did climb over a fence. We were setting up the tent, she came over, and she's just like, what are you doing here? And it turns out that she owns the land, and so we're literally midway putting up our tents, and you know, she basically caught us red-handed, so there's nothing but to say exactly what we were doing, you know, and just apologize. She just said, it's fine, you can stay here as long as you don't light a fire or, you know, get up to any trouble or anything like that, which we're not. We're just gonna go right to sleep. She was so kind. She was honestly so lovely. Like, at the end of the day, we're trespassing, and the fact that she heard us out what we were doing and then was like, no, it's fine, you can stay here, and even invited us around for coffee in the morning, which is amazing. It blows my mind, the kindness of strangers, like how lovely people have been out here. Doing this sort of walk and challenge, you just are kind of forced to throw yourself out into the world. And as someone who is like socially anxious, people and strangers is something that's actually a trigger usually for me to get really scared and terrified. But being out here has been so healthy for that, because I've been shown nothing but kindness. People have stopped to donate to the GoFundMe. They've given me physical cash. People are so friendly, even if they're just asking like, what are you up to? And it just smiles and support. It's not that I ever felt like people were bad. I never thought that, but I just didn't think that the strangers were this kind, and overwhelmingly I haven't had one negative experience out here and met a lot of people, and the whole experience has been amazing. It's been tough and painful sometimes and tiring, definitely, but all that kind of adds up to make it very rewarding. At the end of every day, it's just so much energy is spent that you have no time to worry about anything. You feel fulfilled and life is just very simple. And again, before this, I could not have said that. My mind is jumping all over the place. I couldn't control my mind at all. It feels really right, you know, and it took a while to start feeling like that. Initially, you're just like, what am I doing? Your body's aching and you're just wishing it would stop, thinking of ways to try and give up. But then you get into the rhythm of it, and just the sort of the lifestyle of it all is so, yeah, it just feels so right. Don't know how else to describe it. This is the end of the 14th day, so tomorrow is going to be the 15th day of doing this, and I just wanted to give my thoughts so far. Now, it could just go downhill like a plane without an engine, but I doubt that. I think it's a really awesome thing. I really feel very fortunate to be out here and be able to do this. Glorious.
Good morning.
Good morning. The morning had started off great. The people who had let us camp on their land had invited us over for tea and coffee. Their kindness and generosity had left us on a high as we hiked towards Taunton. However, the ridiculous weather soon brought us to a screeching stop. Although on the plus side, we did get to eat some scrumptious burgers. We're busted, especially me, I think. Haven't had a rest day at all, but even half a rest day in a while, so we are taking one here at the Holiday Inn. Thank you. Oh, thank you. I'm gonna make myself very comfy now. See you guys tomorrow. Another day and another walk. We had an amazing sleep last night, but now we're back out and we are heading to Glastonbury today. Not sure if we'll make it all the way there, because really only a big road that goes there, so we don't really want to walk on a big busy road the whole way there, so we're kind of taking a winding route. So we'll probably be there in 2 days, I reckon, or 1.5.
You ain't helping me at all. The memories, they all twist and turn.
We are just at a place called Burrow Bridge. We're taking a break to check out a really cool looking church on top of a mound called Burrow Mump.
We learned about it from the start. Nostalgia is my second nature art. My least favorite state of mind, but I go there all the time.
So we are still making our way to Glastonbury, and we've just come up from a lovely little village, and we are going up a place that the sign said is an enchanted wood. So we're going off the road, we're going to explore this and slowly make our way to Glastonbury. says danger MOD range, keep out. And that basically means that's where the military trains. So part of this forest, people are shooting a bunch of guns and training.
Is that why it's called the Enchanted Forest, do you think?
I think so, because
Enchanted with bullets.
yeah, I think so. That feels so good, but it also smells so bad. It's been an awesome day. I think we did close to 20 miles, if not maybe even a little more today. We were really on it. It was good weather overall. It was all right. It was pretty good. It was a great day. And yeah, tomorrow we head into Glastonbury. Very exciting. We've got a great campsite. And yeah, see you guys tomorrow. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to a sunny day, would you believe it? The weather has changed and it is on our side this morning.
Oh, so nice.
The camera flash went off. Reflection made your eyes red.
We just walked up from the valley where we camped down here, and now we're walking along sort of a hill ridge.
They reveal on the portrait.
The weather stayed on our side as we made our way to Glastonbury. We stopped along the way at a town called Street, and here we munched into a huge full English. We then made the final push to reach Glastonbury, a place we were very excited to check out. While Ethan rested his sore feet, I checked out the famous over 1,500-year-old Glastonbury Abbey, said to be the first Christian foundation in Britain and the burial place of King Arthur. I've never been to Glastonbury, neither of us have, and I think it's well and truly blown us away. I mean, for one, it's a beautiful old city found on rolling hills, and the other thing is, so many hippies. There's tons. I mean, there's crystal shops, chakra healing shops, and then a bunch of hippies walking around. It's awesome. A dude with a guitar, I didn't catch it on film, but he sang my name. It wasn't a great song, if I'm honest. He just kind of went like, Josh, 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 Josh. But I still loved it and I appreciated it. It was soon time to leave Glastonbury. It had certainly lived up to the hype, and it's definitely one of the most unique towns I've ever visited. Our next destination would be the breathtaking Cheddar Gorge, but we wouldn't reach it today. So now it was just about putting as many miles as we could in the gorgeous English countryside.
Wasted out of my mind. We said goodbye. I went outside.
Good morning, everyone. Another day and more walking, would you believe it? To be honest, this morning was really tough to get up. I don't know why. It seems the longer this goes, the harder it is to get up at 6 a.m. To be honest, I'm barely waking up now. It always takes like a couple of hours.
I'm more tired today than I was over the last couple of days.
But at least this hard morning, we get to have a lovely incline of steps. Don't need coffee. What we need is a bunch of long steps. People have shoved pennies into this tree. Woo! First slight incline completed. Oh, brutal, brutal way to wake up. So after a steep climb, we've been greeted with a pretty phenomenal view. and we can actually see the Glastonbury tour, or what we think is, and it just sort of shows the distance that we covered yesterday. Not even the whole day, that was just after lunch. It is awesome to soak in this view early morning. It does make the walk up worth it.
Stairs were pain, but the view's worth it.
Yes. Just taking a bit of a break. We've done some really good distances over the last couple of days, so I think today, you know, we're going at a lot slower and a more tired pace. But it's a very beautiful part of England to walk through. We're just slowly making our way to Cheddar Gorge, but just feeling a bit tired today. But as we sat down for lunch, things were about to take a turn for the worst. Why, nature? Why? As soon as we sat up, it started raining so heavy. As quickly as it came, it is gone now. What's really lovely is it seems that awful weather came just at the time we decided to stop for lunch. So now that we've finished our lunch, it stopped, which is so nice, isn't it?
I'm very cold and wet now, so...
Yeah, it was crazy. It was heavy. We were just caught out completely. But we're gonna stay warm by walking. Hopefully the good weather comes back. It seems the sun's coming out again.
Vitamins and history books, psychology and a different way to look at it all. 'Cause my perspective is broken. Yeah, I'm lost, but I'm living.
Alright, so guys, I'm walking down from Cheddar Gorge, and I have left Ethan. Ethan is headed into the town of Cheddar, where he is going to be calling it a day. I totally understand it's been a tough day and a tough couple of days, and so yeah, it is just me now. And yeah, I'm trying to stay positive, but today has been really tough. My knees are really sore. And then obviously sad to say goodbye to Ethan. You know, I'm on my own. That'll take a while to get used to, and just the weather today. Right now it's not raining, but it's been a bit rough. It's just been a rough day. And I think didn't sleep well last night. That's just adding to it. And I'm a long way from where I need to be. I need to start going to Bath today. And heading to Cheddar Gorge was quite the detour, actually. I'm just feeling a bit low, a bit down. But I'm just pushing on through. I'm gonna put on some good podcasts, listen to them, and just push through the miles. I have just found my camp spot for the night. A bit of flat up on some hills, and I don't really know exactly where I am. I think I'm still in Somerset. I'm about 10 miles out from Cotswold, a bit less, so not too far. Tomorrow that's going to be the goal, to get there, to get the bath. So obviously earlier I was feeling really sort of low, but now I'm feeling a lot better. I'm feeling, yeah, it just took some getting over, just, you know, just feeling a bit down. I think the weather had a lot to do with it, Ethan leaving. Just a bunch of stuff came up today, but this is the thing with this adventure. It's so long, and it's very, you know, it takes a lot from you. It's high distances, it can be painful, it can be a bit lonely, but because of all it takes, it's also the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my life. And so in those low moments, I just remember that even though it's tough, there's nothing I'd rather be doing right now. Good morning, everyone. today. The weather is glorious. It's always a bit easier to get up when the sun is shining in the tent. And I'm starting my walk today. I'm heading to Bath. I'm feeling good. I think it's going to be about 12 miles.
I wanna go there someday. I know we're going somewhere.
I think this whole walk, the number one food I've had, and the number one food I'm craving every time I kind of come up to cafes and stuff, is always a full English. I think because it's got a bit of everything, it's high in calories, and so I cannot describe the wonderfulness when I arrive in little villages and they have a full English. It's just like the heaven gates open up. So I'm really surprisingly enjoying coming into these little villages, meeting people, and just seeing this sort of English culture that I've never really seen before. And I'm just heading to a river which I will follow, and it will take me all the way to an ancient tomb just outside of Bath. So all very exciting. So I've just come down near the river. I've broken off sort of the cycle path and I've come into more of a dirt path. It's really vibrant, stunning forest. And in it I can see a bunch of strange structures, and I think one of them is actually a World War II pillbox. Nothing on the map showed this. Just discovered this cool hidden gem. Didn't even mean to. It is amazing the ups and downs that come along with a good adventure. The last couple of days had been really tough, but today felt like the reward for getting through them. The weather was perfect, the countryside was beautiful, and as I made my way to Bath, I felt so grateful to be able to see England in such an intimate way. Very interestingly, I met an absolutely lovely person along this walk. I think, definitely a local to the area, lived right by the river. And I was going past what I thought were tank blockers, and I've been seeing pillboxes and sort of old World War II remnants around here, and I was really confused as to why. And I had a really lovely chat with him, and he sort of told me all the history. And so those things that you can see right by the bridge, they are tank blockers, so they were put there to stop tanks being able to drive over. And the reason for that is this river runs along one of the defensive lines that if Germany had invaded Britain, this would have been one of the defensive lines to defend the city of Bristol. And so right now what I'm walking on was once a fortified defense line in case of German invasion. So cool. I am right now just outside an ancient burial site from 3800 BC. Oh, it's so cool. It's on top of a beautiful hill, no one around at all. And when it was first discovered, they found remains from over 5,500 years ago. So it is ridiculously old. So cool, just up here hidden in plain sight. I'm so excited. Ancient tomb exploring, let's do it. I'm like the far less attractive Tomb Raider and also the male version. Let's do this, let's go in this ancient tomb. This is by far the coolest tomb I've ever seen. It's so cool, you just crawl inside a tomb from over 5,000 years ago. I mean, that's a crazy experience in itself, and it's just hidden up here, beautiful hills. As the end of the day drew near, I pushed on in search of a place to camp. I was now close to Bath, and tomorrow I'd get to rest in a hostel, but for now I still had one more night of wild camping to do. Good morning, everyone. I am currently walking through the old train line. This is the Midford Station, and so you can actually see that all this that I'm walking by was once a station. Following the old rail line, I made my way into Bath. What is cool about this route is that it takes you through the longest walking and cycling tunnel in Britain. Within no time at all, I had made it to Bath. Before heading to my hostel to pass out, I made the effort to go and explore Bath. The city is called Bath because of the Roman baths found here. During the early ADs, when the Romans conquered England, they built a bathing complex to house the geothermal waters found in the city. Bath became known as a relaxing retreat from London, with people still to this day travelling miles to relax in the hot earth-heated pools. And I have to say myself that it is one of the most beautiful cities I've ever seen. Today is beautiful weather, just like lots of days in this walk. I've been greeted with rain and wind and getting soaked. It's just lovely. They were saying that this was the wettest May in years, and I'd be lying if I said it wasn't getting to me. But what was awesome about this wet and grey day was that it was the first day when I would be starting my walk across the Cotswold Way, a 102-mile hiking trail that would take me through the beautiful countryside of the Cotswolds, a place known for rolling hills, quaint villages, and being the place where the first and last battles of the English Civil War took place in the 1600s. Needless to say that this was going to be an epic walk. It is super stunning, very hilly, constantly up and down, but beautiful lush greenery, and no one else is out on trail, I think because of the weather today. And it's nice to very rarely be on roads and almost be entirely on hills and forests. It's just so beautiful. Can you hear all the sheep? I picked a loud place to try sleep. Good morning, everyone. Woo! It was so hard to get out of bed this morning. I was so comfy. I was curled up in a little cocoon, like a caterpillar not wanting to become a butterfly. The plan today, much like every other day, is to walk. I know it sounds crazy, but that's what I'm gonna do. The weather is so much nicer today. It actually seems like a bit of blue sky. It hasn't rained yet, which is surprising. So who knows, might actually get a nice day today. If I had to describe the Cotswolds Way, I would say beautiful and hilly. It seemed to never stop with the ups and downs as I weaved through what could only be described as quintessential English countryside. As the day drew on, my legs were feeling sore and tired, but I was in great spirits and kept pushing on because my family would be coming to visit me further down trail. My parents have come and they've brought me Burger King along my walk. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh, it's glorious. And I think Emily has zoomed way in on my face as my sister doing the camera work. My sister and mum decided to walk the next couple of miles with me as my dad drove to a nearby pub and waited for us there for dinner. It was such a morale boost to spend time with him. After dinner, it was time to say goodbye to my family and get some more miles done before the sun set. It was tough to set off alone again. 22 days into the walk and I had wild camped and hiked more than I had ever done before in my life, and I wasn't even halfway there yet. But as I walked through the beautiful nature lit up by the setting sun, I was once again reminded why I was doing this. Even with rain and loneliness, I felt the best I had in years. Even with sore legs and tough terrain, I felt alive and amazed by what I was experiencing. This walk across England was taking a lot from me, but it was giving me even more. It was just awesome. Good morning. Oh man.
I'll let you go, just need some time. At your own pace, you need to find your way. I know now you'll never change your mind for something that matters to me.
I am so happy to have a room. The rain has just decided to come down quite a bit. I had a look at the weather report and it's meant to just get heavier for the rest of the day through the evening. Thought I would take the advantage of a rainy day to have a night in a hotel, wash all my clothes because I'm getting pretty gross. The hostel I went to in Bath didn't have any radiators to dry it, so they're all soaked. I've kind of been wearing the same pants for a few too many days. So it's really nice to be here in a nice room. I'm feeling so nice and refreshed after a nice night in such a comfy bed. I feel as though the last couple of days I have not done the distances that I've wanted to do, so I'm really going to aim, whether it's good weather or not, to really put in some good miles these next couple of days. I was determined to rack up the miles. 4 days into walking the Cotswold Way, and I had let the rain stop me from doing the 20+ mile days I had aimed for. But this time, rain or shine, I would keep going. And on that day I got plenty of both, with the weather being extremely bipolar, switching from sunny skies to heavy rain every hour or so. I have kind of come into my first quintessential Cotswold village. And it is so stunning. The styles of villages here and the stone used, it's so unique to this part of England, and it's lovely to walk for it. Man, the Cotswold Way is home to some awesome viewpoints. All today it's either been beautiful emerald forest or unreal sort of hill views like that. Oh, it's such a stunning part of England. And the weather has been, as I said earlier, on and off, but really when it rains, it's not all too bad, especially with all the tree cover today. And it does give nice weather for, I think, over 7 days, which is so awesome. Better than Christmas. Well, maybe not, but close, very close. I feel like I've done some good distance. I've only really taken one break. I've only really sat down twice today, and so I feel I've done really good distance. Good morning, everyone. Oh, it's a chilly morning this morning. But on the plus side, there is no rain. And that is truly glorious. And the other thing that's truly glorious is this view right now that I'm walking beside. What a way to start the day. It is honestly so awesome to be out, no rain, and to know that probably there won't be any rain for at least a couple of days. Oh, you can really take your time to enjoy this beautiful landscape. I think this is one of the highest points I've been during the Cotswold Way. And look at this. I'm just walking beside this. It's unreal. There hasn't been that much hidden gems in the Cotswold Way that I had sort of researched to check out before this, but in this sort of area just over here, there's meant to be about 3 or 4 really cool spots to check out. So I kind of went off trail off the Cotswold Way, and I'm just searching now to try and find these hidden gems. The first hidden gem is somewhere down there. Hidden gem hunting is so fun, but it is tough on the legs. I found the hidden gem. It's not anything crazy, but it's just quite cool.
You should know. Don't try to cover up your wings. In light of what you've seen so far, there are better ways.
You know when you go into a store and you're hungry and you just buy too much? Yeah, I definitely did that and then some. I'm gonna start hiking up to what is meant to be an abbey ruin, so I'm gonna start making my way there now. It didn't take long to reach the romantic ruins of Haley's Abbey, founded in 1246. It had been a great day, with the weather for the most part being on my side, but it was starting to get late, so I set out in search of a place to pitch my tent. This is my 25th day, I think. Yeah, 25th, probably. Something like that. This is what that looks like. 25 days of walking on my feet. I'll show you now. Look at that. So this, it's just like hard. It feels like my toe has grown an extra bit of skin. And it's just like tough skin. And then same here. And you can really see it. Oh my goodness, it's the same here also. This is really gross. I just realized I'm just showing you my manky feet. In a weird way, I'm proud of it. Good morning, everyone. I'm just walking through a place with some really beautiful, quaint little buildings. I'm hoping today to get to the end of the Cotswold Way. I'm going to do a big push today, I think. Cotswolds is world famous for its picturesque honey-coloured stone villages. And here on my final day of the Cotswold Way, I got to really experience that.
Down by the sea, at the edge of the water, the coming waves kiss my feet.
I've just head out of the town now, and I'm heading up a hill to a beautiful tower, and that will sort of signify almost being finished. I think it's the last major ascent until finishing the Cotswolds, so I'm almost done, which is crazy.
Me of you. I don't know for how long I can carry on, pretending that everything is.
Oh, so I'm just out of the town centre now. I'm just on a little trail just outside, but that town signifies the end of the Cotswold Way, which is crazy. This, you know, it's a big long distance trail. It's 168 kilometers, I think over 100 miles. It feels like a great achievement. I started in Bath, I don't know how many days ago, and it's been so fun. I've really loved the Cotswolds Way. It's been a really beautiful place to walk. The villages, the people, everything. It's been lovely. I've really enjoyed it. I'd never seen this part of England, Cotswold, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Very hilly. I almost didn't do this walk, you know. Oh, there's so much fear and doubt, and I'm now almost a month in, and it's an amazing experience. Of course, ups and downs. Oh, ups and downs. Even today, you know, I was so tired earlier. Well, full English helped that. That seems to be good medicine for that. I just can't believe I've done it. I've done big section of England. I mean, you know, I'm over halfway through England for sure. It was late in the day as I made my way out of Cotswold, having just completed the Cotswold Way. As I hiked to the border of the national park, I spotted a cool hidden gem within the forest, a carving in a tree made by a Belgian soldier in 1917. I continued to walk along the beautiful rolling hills till I found a nice place to camp, and having a lovely dinner of tinned spaghetti bolognese, I hit the hay. Good morning, everyone. Today, I'm heading to a place I'm really excited to check out, and I've done zero research. All I know is that this area of England is where Shakespeare was born, which is pretty awesome. I hiked towards the historic town of Stratford-upon-Avon and followed an old train line converted into a walking path. Along the trail you could see real trains turned into cafes. Within no time I made it to Stratford-upon-Avon and wandered around the beautiful streets, admiring the historic architecture, and even got to see the house where Shakespeare was born. Really nice little town. Lots of sort of Tudor style homes there. It's very cool to look back in time and see the different architecture, and it's well preserved there. I'm just continuing on along a river for a while, but just loving this weather. Oh my goodness. It is glorious. This town marked the real start of my hike across the unknown, an area of England not often explored on foot. I'll admit it wasn't the best of starts, with most of the day being a tiring slog of mainly busy roads. The highlights were definitely the quaint towns boosting beautifully old architecture I got to walk through. I got in some good distance that day, but with my energy now drained and the light fading fast, I made my way into a quiet pocket of nature to camp up for the night. Morning, everyone. Sore start today. I think I've pushed quite hard these last couple of days. I think it's caught up with me a bit. I am walking to a place called Kenworth or something. I think it's probably a 2-hour walk from here. I was busted, but on the bright side, today's trail was a lot more nature-filled and even brought me past a stunning Kenilworth Castle. Built in 1120, it was one of the most formidable fortresses in England, and this was further proven when it repelled a 6-month siege, the longest in English medieval history. However, the rest of the day was another slow slog to reach Coventry City, where I had booked a hotel room for the night. I am making my way out of Coventry now. Had a lovely evening. I met a really lovely couple from a YouTube channel called Not Another Adventure Channel. They were so lovely. They treated me to dinner. It was just so nice. They drove out to see me. It was amazing to meet them. Make sure to go check out their channel and just say hi from me. I'm heading out of Coventry now, heading back into the nature of England, and I am going towards a castle that is the first hidden gem I'm going to be checking out today. It's about a 3-hour walk away. After a couple of hours of walking, mainly on main roads, I've come to a place called Astley Castle, and it kind of looks like a modern house built into the old ruins of a medieval building, but there's no like signs to it here. I mean, there's nothing really. There's no one around, and it's a Sunday. Definitely a hidden gem off the trail, which is cool. This is really cool. It's like there's like no one here, and it's so creepy, but in a really cool way. I don't know what I'm allowed to do or be, but I'll just go until someone tells me, I guess. There's definitely a modern building built within this, so I'm really curious as to what it is. With a bit of research, I found that this 16th century medieval manor has been converted into a hotel you can book online. Unfortunately, I would not be staying in as luxurious accommodations tonight, as I hike my way across roads and through fields in search of a good place to pitch my tent. Good morning, everyone. Oh, it was tough to get up out of bed this morning. I must admit I did lie in a bit. Usually I'm getting up at just after 6. This time I got up at 7. I was just so comfy. Today is my 29th day, I think. It's almost a month, which is exciting. It's amazing. Feeling really happy to have done this much and gone this far. My 29th day started off great, and I felt I had done some good distance over the last couple of days. But little did I know that I was walking into what would turn out to be a very painful day. I fucked my neck. I really messed it up. I don't know how. It's stiff this morning. I can barely turn it either side now. It's really painful. I think the bag. Fuck. Shit. Yeah. I can't carry the bag at the moment. It's too painful. I've just taken some painkillers. I have no choice but to continue on. I'm in the middle of nowhere, so I just have to keep going. That wasn't so bad. I won't lie, it was miserable walking for the next couple of miles, but the sight of a gibbet post by the road used to hang a murderer in the 1800s quickly made my neck pain feel not so bad in comparison. This area of the track, for some reason, they've just left a bunch of old trains on the side of it. I want to see if there's a way down, kind of get a closer look at these trains. The painkillers have kicked in, which is awesome. It's only a little bit sore now, but definitely manageable to walk. Easy enough to come down, actually. Very cool. What a day. I'm just busted. absolutely busted. It's been lovely weather today. Almost too lovely. Not much shade until I got onto this trail. And so I've been walking on roads for most of today. Some cool jams though. Right now I'm in like a really cool ruin. My neck is far from being 100%. It's still sore, but it's manageable. I think the painkillers have made me quite drowsy as well. So today's been weird. It hasn't been a bad day. I wouldn't say that. It's been tough. It's been really tough. I've just woken up in quite a lot of pain. I don't know how to even get down the tent. My back and my neck feels worse than yesterday. I've taken some Nurofen, so I'm hoping that will make the pain go away and I'll be able to put down the tent. Thankfully, the painkillers kicked in and allowed me to pack my bag. My back and neck were feeling really bad, and so I decided to push out 6 sore miles to reach the closest hotel for some much needed recovery. Oh, that was brutal. Let me get my bag off 1 second. My back and my neck, but it had gone down to my back this morning, was really bad. I had to lie in the tent until the painkillers kicked in, and then after that I could get up and put down the tent, and I just need to take a rest. I need to spend the rest of today lying in bed and doing nothing. To be honest, I don't really like getting hotels. It feels like cheating. If I'm honest, but today I really felt like my body needs it. The neck, obviously. I think also just everything. I'm pretty beaten up at the moment, but I'm feeling very happy to be here. I'm just gonna order pizza, lie in bed, and sleep for hopefully hours and hours. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Good morning, everyone. Today, my back is feeling much better. The sun is out, ready to rock and roll again, which is really nice. My body feels good. The back is a little sore, but not too bad. And so I'm really happy with that and feel almost 100%. So let's do this thing. Oh man, my maps just pranked me hard. It told me that there was a way across the river, so I was expecting like a bridge, right? And instead, just nothing. I guess it's probably shallower than other parts of the river. Oh, man, and there is absolutely nowhere near to cross the river. This is the only spot. So unless I want to double back on myself a major bit, add hours to the journey, I'm gonna have to figure a way across this river. I'm gonna go test without the bag, without any equipment, make sure that it is shallow enough and not too slippy. Woo! Freezing! It's too cold for me to go far, but it seemed okay. So let's go. It is cold and the current is quite strong. I really gotta be careful. Whoa, almost stepped into a big old thing that was deep. I gotta be more careful. My shoes! No! Ah, shit. I gotta go get my shoes. Ah, fuck. That's my shoes. Okay, that's my shoes. Yes! 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 Oh man, that would have been so bad. Could you imagine? Oh my goodness, they've stayed tied on to themselves, but somehow not the bag. I'm obviously an idiot. Yes! Now they're soaked. I'm freezing. I'm stung up my butt crack from nettles on that bank. But I don't care, because all that can go away. But if I lose my shoes, that's game over. These are my only pair of shoes. So, I am so happy. I'm literally sitting in a field, screaming in my boxers. I could not be happier. I'm an idiot, but we're across the river and I got my shoes. Now I'm gonna have to figure out how to dry everything. But still, I'm happy. Whoa. I have made it to a place called Hermit's Cave in a place called Hermit's Wood. It is a beautiful looking cave in this sort of unassuming wood in kind of the middle of nowhere, England. I'm not in the Peak District yet, there's no real town or city around, and yet here, under the trees, lies a really cool hidden gem. This cave was carved out in the early 1100s and was home to a once baker who believed he was spoken to by God to go live a life of solitude and prayer. Good morning, everyone. Sometimes you just wake up and you just feel in the zone to walk. So today, my plan is to head into the Peak District. I don't think I'll get very far in it, but if I can just sort of reach the boundary of it and find somewhere to camp in Peak District, that'd be amazing. I just had quite a steep walk to take me to one of the coolest hidden gems of this trip so far. Sitting on the summit of this beautiful green hill, surrounded by many beautiful rolling green hills, is a medieval manor known by very few, and I'm just coming up to it now. So it seems that it is also part of a barn, which I'm guessing is private. So I'm just walking around and trying to find a way into it because I don't want to annoy anyone who maybe owns the land. Unfortunately, it quickly became clear that I could not access the manor, but that won't stop me from giving you some interesting facts about it. Built in 1441, it was considered to house the first flushing toilet in the world, created in 1596. I continued to make my way towards Peak District, struggling through narrow entrances and winding along quiet country trails. It was a beautiful walk. I busted. It is such a hot day today, which is lovely. I mean, so nice, but the heat just saps you totally. There's no wind, so I'm just like being baked like a baked potato, which kind of works because I'm Irish. Along my hike, I came across a romantic overgrown ruin of a church, hidden within the trees of a forest. Sights like these remind me why walking is so awesome. You get an intimate look into the landscape and get the chance to discover amazing sights like this. As I drew closer to the Peak District, the slopes of hills began to steepen and the views became more dramatic. Valleys began to cut through the land, holding beautiful waterfalls and fresh water to top up my bottles. It was clear that I was close to the national park's border, but that is where I would end it for that day. With weary legs, I set up my tent, excited to explore Peak District the next day. Today was an exciting day. Not only was I in the Peak District, a place that signified a change of landscapes from hills to mountains, but here I would also be meeting my mum, who would be joining me for a couple of days of hiking. It was very exciting indeed. Bye, Mr. Cow. Have a good hike. Hey everyone. I haven't really done any video updates today, and that's because my mum is here and I've just been enjoying the company. My mum has lifted my spirits yesterday. I was feeling like a donkey that was sad donkey, I would say. But today I feel like a happy horse. And it's because mum brought McDonald's earlier and, what are these?
Chocolate donut.
Chocolate donuts, which is glorious. And so it's been lovely. We've had a really beautiful walk today.
Beautiful walk today.
And we're having lunch on a plinth.
Yes.
Glorious plinths. How have you found the walk today so far?
Loved the walk today. It's been so pretty. This countryside has just been amazing today.
Me and Mum have found the ultimate place to camp. I would say the best camping spot of the trip so far. And one of the best days of the trip so far. You've come at a perfect time.
I know. It's been incredible. And check out our camp spot with a view.
Peak District has just been gorgeous. The landscape is awesome. So awesome. Can't wait tomorrow to explore more of it. But for now, we're gonna rest up, have some dinner, and go to sleep. And so, see you guys tomorrow. Good morning, everyone. How'd you sleep, Mum?
I slept really well, thank you.
I think it's another day of exploring the Peak District. Interestingly, this area we are hiking in now was once an ancient coral reef. The Peak District's unique landscapes were created through glaciers carving valleys into the land, which then became giant lakes. It is wild to think that the peaks here were once sea level, and everything below was just under a deep lake. Me and Mom have made it all the way to the top. Well done. Yeah! Unreal views. Unreal. Me and Mum have just began to take our first steps on the Pennine Way, which is really exciting. It's going to be so beautiful, really rugged and mountainous and epic and tough. Definitely high elevation gain. It's almost 8,000 meters in elevation gain over the 16 days, but just awesome. We have made it to not quite the top, but what seems to be the end of the steepness. It's just awesome, isn't it? Amazing views. Check out that view behind me. Sorry, my hair is crazy. I think it's the sweat. Kind of gross way to style my hair. We found our camp spot just a bit further up, but sun is setting. Peak District is looking gorgeous and could not be a better day of hiking. Mum's made a friend. This is the most fearless sheep I've ever seen. Morning, everyone. Good morning. We just found out that we camped beside not only curious sheep, but also a plane crash. Peak District was kind of considered like the Bermuda Triangle of flying in England, because however sort of the clouds lie on these mountains just made that there's a lot of plane crashes all around. Today we'll be taking a couple-mile detour off the Pennine Way to meet up with my dad and sister at a pub for lunch and a drink. This is also where I'll be saying goodbye to Mum and continuing to the border of Scotland solo once more.
Hi Josh, we love you.
Oh, thanks guys. It is just me now. I just had some lovely lunch, said goodbye to the family. It's always tough to do, always tough to say goodbye. I'm back on the Pennine Way now. This hike is crazy but super beautiful. Just such a barren landscape. I never knew this side of the Peak District existed. It is absolutely stunning. The next day I woke up to rain and a grey sky. But luckily for me, I had booked a hotel for the night that I hoped to reach by midday. Good morning, everyone. I had such a lovely sleep last night. I slept in till 9:30 today. Not slept that in, is that how you would say it? I don't even know. Oh, my brain is scrambled egg this morning, just ignore me. What I was trying to say with my scrambled egg brain was that I had not slept that well in a long time. So I'm just come back onto the Pennine Way now. Absolutely stunning landscapes. I think this is like the last couple of trails that will actually be in the Peak District, but I think I'm just following mountains the whole way till I reach the next national park, which is Yorkshire Dales. And if the landscape stays like this, I'm really in for a treat these next couple of days. It really was a treat to hike through this area of England. It was wild and rugged, with mountains and waterfalls, and nobody on trail. I'd managed to somehow stumble across a section of England not known by many, and it was awesome. Today's hiking has been just awesome. The weather has been perfect. It's like cloudy and cool, but still warm enough to be in shorts and t-shirts. And the landscape, right now I'm in West Yorkshire, and it's technically not a national park. I'm kind of coming into the Yorkshire National Park, but that won't be for another day. So I never knew that this stretch in between the Peak District and then Yorkshire National Park, I had no idea it had so many mountains and moors landscape. It's very wild and stunning. So I've just been constantly getting awesome views and just really enjoying exploring a new area of England. I was certainly in the north of England now. The landscape was wild and dramatic. Walking across this area for the last 6 days had given me a real appreciation on how epic English nature can be. I had seen such incredible sights, and I felt very grateful to explore it all slowly on foot. The Scottish border was now just over 10 days away. I was drawing near to the end of my adventure, but there was still so much to see. I was about to enter the truly wild side of England, a place of few people but many natural gems to explore. From roaring waterfalls to massive mountains, it was gonna be crazy and totally awesome. Good morning, everyone. I think it's gonna be a lovely day, so let's do this thing. Currently walking along beautiful mountaintops. Great way to start the morning. I am going to be heading into town soon. I'm almost out of food, so I'm going to stock up. Got to do a lot bigger stock ups for this part of England because beautiful nature but very isolated. I came down off the mountains and into a beautiful town called Hampden Bridge to stock up on some food. This picturesque town with its winding canals and old water mills is also known as the lesbian capital of the UK, which is pretty cool. I followed the canal to the other side of the valley, where I began the steep ascent up the densely forested slopes. I managed to find myself in a magical lush forest. Following a river with waterfalls through the vibrant vegetation, it was clear that this area was once home to a watermill, and it was breathtaking. I've just finished exploring the mills, and if I'm honest, I've allowed myself to spiral a bit. I think I'm just a bit tired and my knee is pretty sore, but I've just allowed that to kind of hold space in my mind and let me spiral into negative thoughts. And I was sort of sitting, just eating a croissant, feeling sorry for myself, when a lovely couple came up and I was chatting with them, and they gave me £10 towards the charity for Minds. I told them what I was doing. They were just so lovely. Meeting people like that, maybe it sounds silly, but it is like the best medicine ever to social anxiety, and such friendly people. And to give £10 to a stranger you met in the woods who's stuffing his face with a croissant, it just shows the kindness of people. And that's happened multiple times on this trip, but it never ceases to amaze me. People are just good people. Sometimes you need to get out of the house and be in a vulnerable state to see that, and that's why this trip's so important. So I have found my camp spot for tonight, and it is in a awesome location. I'm very excited. It's already just past 7 and I haven't had dinner yet, so I'm gonna have dinner and then set up the tent. Oh, it is a glorious day, nothing but blue skies, and it's at that time where I'm not sweating like a pig, wearing a wig in a sauna, which is awesome. As you can probably tell, I'm feeling a bit more chipper today than I was yesterday. I was back on the Pennine Way now, and with it came absolutely breathtaking views of the English countryside. With the weather on my side, it made for a lovely morning of walking. Beautiful day today. I can't believe the weather. May was awful and June has just been gorgeous. It's been a lovely walk coming through the valleys and over the moors. Something I'm realizing is now that I'm over a month in, I think the body's just going to be sore. I know yesterday my knee was really bad, my left knee, but today it's fine, but now it's my right knee. I'm not actually letting it worry me because like my back before, my neck and my feet before that, everything just hurts sometimes. And I think this far in, that's just part of the journey now. And so I don't really mind. I can sort of zone out the pain, especially with amazing waterfalls like that back there. Just beautiful landscape. It's just amazing to explore this part of England. Hello.
I gotta get past.
That cow did not care I was there. It was gonna sunbathe whether I was there or not. I just had a lovely pub lunch and chatted to some lovely people. My aim is to reach Yorkshire Dales National Park today. I had a look while in the pub and I think I can just about do it. Officially found the cutest little gate ever. Look at it. I'm officially in Yorkshire Dales National Park. Where those sheep are, over this stone wall, that is not Yorkshire Dales National Park. But here, Yorkshire Dales National Park, I literally just made it. Just made it before it gets dark. I'm eating a pancake, and it's delicious. I've got a lot of pancakes to keep eating, so it's a good morning. Speaking of good mornings, good morning! I'm heading to a waterfall called Janet's Force. It is just a mile's diversion from the Pennine Way, so not far at all. And apparently around there there's also caves and coves and tons of stuff to check out. So I think today I probably won't do as much distance, but I will get to check out some really cool stuff. So I think well worth it. In the meantime, I'm gonna eat delicious pancakes. Delicious! I am walking through a beautiful emerald forest and I am looking for what's meant to be an amazing waterfall.
Always I remember your bad dress and how you turned my mind completely into surf.
This was an awesome day, wandering around breathtaking natural wonders. Yes, it did end up being a total detour and I made next to no progress towards the border of Scotland, but it didn't matter because this was why I was out here, to go off the beaten path and check out the epic natural gems of England. And this area of Yorkshire Dales had tons of them.
I always do that and I know it. If I could only be some kind of poet, if I could have my way with words, if only for a day, I would tell you what I feel so you know it, 'cause I would know just what to say, if only I was some kind of poet.
I am ready to explode. I am so full. That was truly glorious. Now I will say, I didn't finish all the food. I thought I could order 2 meals and oh yeah, I'll eat them no problem. And I barely got through the first one. I took 1 bite of the second one. I couldn't do it, I had to tap out. But what's really good is I've got it to go. And so that's gonna be an amazing breakfast tomorrow. And what was also amazing was the pizza I had was a full English breakfast pizza. I'd never heard of that before. I'm gonna try reconnect with the Pennine Way now. Today was quite the detour, it really was, but well worth it. The places I've been to, really awesome, and that pizza, really awesome. It was so windy last night. I can't tell what was a dream and what wasn't. It was so weird. I definitely had a lot of sleep paralysis. Don't know why. I thought someone was opening the tent. Sleep paralysis, for those that don't know, you just have this irrational fear and you can't move your body but your eyes are awake. It's really weird. You sort of hallucinate. So I did not sleep well at all. On the plus side, I'm having pizza for breakfast, which is awesome. Leaving the tent, I was met with heavy wind and rain. What made this worse was that I had to climb up and over one of the highest mountains in Yorkshire, Penzance. So guys, the weather has greatly improved. It's become just cloudy, the fog has rolled away. I'm just walking through like an abandoned barn at the moment. But I've just stopped. I'm gonna have some cold pork and sausages and hind beans. Just cause I'm too lazy to heat it up. I've run into a bit of a problem. I am almost out of food. Enough for this evening and then half a day if I'm really stretching it out. I had a talk with a local to see like is there any shops. He said there's no shops for a good while. There is a couple of pubs but they do only bookings, so I'm gonna see if I can Irish charm my way into a dinner. Just tried this pub, no go. Irish charm didn't work. In fact, it was more of timid, very being as polite as possible charm, which really isn't very charming at all. I probably didn't do much of an attempt, but I have been told, however, there is another pub about an hour and 40 minutes walk. If I do it quick, maybe I can get there in time when they're still serving dinner and they are open to walk in. So fingers crossed. This road is so steep. I'm busted. I'm sweating. But that's gonna be worth it. For some pub grub, I gotta make it. Further up the road, I realized that there was no way I would reach the pub tonight. So instead, I decided to slow my pace and enjoy this extremely photogenic area I found myself in. The next day, I rose out of my tent like a food-seeking missile, solely focused on some good pub grub breakfast. Unfortunately, they are closed and they don't open till like another hour and a half, so I'm probably 4 or 5 hours out from the town with lots of food. And on the plus side of it all, my bag is definitely the lightest it's ever been. So I've just come out of the town. I am stocked to the brim and my belly is full and I'm eating a cheese twist at the moment. Very delicious. Just past 8 and so I'm looking for somewhere to camp. But the issue I've found is the road that I'm following is surrounded by all this land around here and here is military firing zones. So where the British military train, I don't know specifically what, but lots of signs and cameras. I'm not really sure if I'm even allowed on this road. I found a place to camp just here beside a lovely lake. I'm keeping my voice down a bit because I don't know if I'm in the military testing zone. I hope not. Can you imagine waking up to machine gun fire? That would be crazy. Luckily, I woke up to birds singing and not a fully automatic weapon, and began to hike up into the mountainous region of England called the North Pennies. I've almost made it to the top. Does not seem like great visibility today. I'm going up into the clouds. My goal for the day was not to make any distance towards the Scottish border, but rather go on lots of detours to explore this beautiful part of England.
Running out of time for so long. Hello, 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 Leo.
This day is awesome. Oh man, I'm having such a good time. Stunning landscape. I've never been to the North Pennies and it is not disappointed.
Don't ever let him bring you down. What a terrible thing to say. Trail across my fingers out of sight. Hello, 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 Leo.
Guys, look who I found. Can you believe it?
Cannot believe I'm back.
For those that don't know, Patrick is one of my closest friends, and 45 days ago he joined me for 2 days in Cornwall to see me off on this crazy adventure.
I did not expect this, Josh.
Me neither. This is a totally random encounter. You were up here with
I was
your
up there
family.
with my lovely cousins who are also with us today.
Oh, yeah, and they are lovely, and you're lovely, and
Thank
you've
you. As
no
are you,
worries.
Josh.
Oh, this
But-
is getting heated. All right, we're gonna go for a swim, have a wild swim. I just said that twice. My brain's broken. It's late.
Fair enough.
Have some food. And just, oh mate,
Relax.
it's so awesome.
And
so
how
awesome.
have you found this whole experience, Josh?
Oh, it's been pure torture as hell, mate. I loved it.
Well, I haven't been there, so you know.
I'm joking. It's been amazing. It's been amazing. Ups and downs, but overall amazing. And it's really nice to have the company, though.
And your taxi is just outside to take you to a lift to the next
Hey,
campsite.
mate, we keep that.
Oh, sorry.
Not when filming.
Should we do, editor, take that bit out. We're now going to go for a swim. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Well, CGI, right? We're not actually going to do it. The next day, I was back on my own again. Feeling great after a wonderful evening, I set off in search of a secret waterfall. So I think I found something pretty cool, totally by random and by chance. I was off the side of the trail doing a poop, and I see a cave up there. So I'm gonna go quickly check it out. Hello! That is so crazy, but I got a waterfall to check out. I've reached the waterfall. Oh, it's awesome. I'm the only one here. According to local legend, in the 16th century, an outlaw named William Gibson hid from the police here, living behind the waterfall. I, however, did not plan to live here, so after checking out this awesome spot, I hiked towards a nearby village where I had booked a room for the night. Hello everyone. It is currently 2 p.m. I haven't really done much filming today. I'm just really tired, struggling just to get to where I'm meant to go, which is probably about 17 to 20 miles away. But I'm feeling good mentally, just physically today's a bit of a slog, which is alright. You're not going to be tip-top shape every day. I have just come off the main road and I am going down the valley now. I'm going to go check out a waterfall. I don't really know exactly how to get there. This is so cool. That waterfall is awesome. And this area is really quiet and really beautiful, green with the river flowing through it. It's a stunning place. Morning everyone. Oh, I slept so well. I am gonna be heading into Northumberland today, which is the final national park in England, which is insane. I ended that rather wet day exploring the romantic 12th century ruins of Restormel Castle. Excitingly, this castle marked the start of a hike that I'd been wanting to do for a very long time. But with light fading fast, that would have to wait until the next day. Good morning, everyone. Today is a very exciting day because I've made it on to what is called the Hadrian's Wall Path. And so this trail follows along the ancient Roman wall that was built in the early ADs when Rome conquered England. It's a really famous trail. It's like the Great Wall of England. Quite exciting. Also very hilly, and I'm dying. I have just come up to what I believe is the start of the Roman wall. It's amazing to be beside something so ancient and just trying to imagine like Roman soldiers defending here. I'm sure they much would have rather been in Greece with their sandals. Built in 122 AD, this 73-mile long stone wall was built to protect Roman conquered England from barbarians. Hadrian's Wall was the northwest frontier of the Roman Empire for nearly 300 years. It was an absolutely breathtaking hike following this ancient wall surrounded by incredible views. I was now in Northumberland, one of England's most remote and rugged national parks. It was my first time here and it was beautiful. But not everything was going so well. It was a particularly hot day on trail and I completely ran out of water. Hours went by and still no sign of a stream or anything. I was starting to get desperate. Great news, I've found running water. The only thing now to figure out is how to get down and fill up my stuff. Whoa! I just basically fell down. I've got my water. So glad to have that. I was running really low. I haven't drank enough today. And it might look like you're in the water, but I have chlorine tablets, so I'm not bothered. I'm busted. I'm really wrecked actually. So I think I'm gonna just try and find a place to camp now for the night. I'm wrecked. I was now in the last national park of England. The border of Scotland was not more than a couple of days away. The border of Scotland was not far now. In fact, this would be my final full day of hiking. The aim was to complete the walk at a place on the border called Carter's Bar. It was a weird feeling to know that this adventure would soon be over, but the wildly beautiful landscapes of Northumberland helped me keep my mind in the present. It is almost the end of the day. I've had a great last couple of hours and I've now come down through a forest to an awesome hidden gem in a mossy, beautiful forest. What a way to end the day. Filling up my bottles from the waterfall stream, I set off into the forest to camp up for the night. The next day I began my final day of walking, following a main road that would take me right to the Scottish border. This was my 50th day out on trail and I'd now hiked over 800 miles. Today is day number 1. Last night was so cold that there was actually frost on the outside of my sleeping bag. But the rain just did not stop today. But it's been such a beautiful walk and I've discovered so many things that I didn't know were here. They didn't show up on the map. It was crazy to think that in just a couple of hours I'd be finished. I could see it. I could see the border. Oh, wow. Oh, it's amazing. I've almost walked the length of England. It had been such an unreal and overwhelming experience that it's hard to sum it up into words. Difficult thing to explain, but getting up every morning and walking, it feels really right. One thing was for sure, I was not the same person that had started this trip 50 days ago. I've just walked the length of England. Woo! I'm really excited. Try not to overthink it because it's just one of those things that I have no idea what's gonna happen. I was no longer ruled by my anxiety and fear. I'd been forced far out of my comfort zone, forced to problem solve, meet new people, and be vulnerable.
Why, nature? Why?
Walk without a plan, adapt when things went wrong, push through when things got tough. We're in the middle of nowhere. Appreciate a sunny day, learn to live in the moment, to take the detour, to start the conversation, to take life less seriously, and to take myself less seriously. Oh, why am I laughing? It's awful. This adventure pulled me out of a dark place. My mental health is not in the best state at the moment. It showed me how tough I can be. It made me feel confident enough to live my life and to be excited for the unknown, the uncomfortable, not to mention what I had been able to see. I got a beautiful chance to see intimately how stunning England truly was, how the rugged coastline smooths out to rolling hills, and how they then steepen to form rough mountains. Amazing views. I met incredible people and realized the true kindness of strangers. Fear almost stopped me from even beginning this walk. And now because of this walk, I would never let it hold me back again. It was a brutal 50 days, with highs and lows, but man, it was awesome. This is so cool. Thank you, England. Thank you to everyone I met along the way, and thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this series, and I hope it can help inspire you to get out and have your own crazy adventure. Whatever that may be, trust me when I say the hardest part is starting, and once you do, you won't look back.